My parents told me this story about my older brother when he was little. My brother is 5 years older than me. Let's call him James. This happened when he was about 5 or 6 years old, so if I was born, I was very, very young. I'm from the UK, just in case anyone was interested. So this was about 30 years ago now. And back then my parents lived in a little flat, about 5 minutes from where they live now, actually. At this time, my mom was at home during the day, while my dad was out working, and every time he got home from work, he'd knock the front door, and my brother, about 5 or 6 years old, would run up to the door, and my dad would stick his hand into the letterbox and pull on my brother's arm, pretending to be a monster and making noises and all that, obviously without being able to see him. Let's see where this is going. One day, he gets home from work, knocks on the door, and then sticks his hand in and starts pulling on my brother's arm and making noises. He then hears my mom about to open the door, so he takes his hand out, and as my mom opens the door, he looks around like, "Where's James?" My mom then goes, "Oh, he's been in bed all day, he's sick." They also told me that, the way the flat is laid out, there is no way he could have even gone out of bed and back in without my mom seeing him. As my dad said, she opened the door as soon as he let go of his arm, so my mom would have seen him. This just happened. Hi all, haven't posted in a while, because nothing has really happened lately, until a few minutes ago. So, my husband is on vacation and we're sitting on the couch. I'm watching him play Dead Island, and there's a knock on our door. When he's home, as the man of the house, he always answers the door. It's just a protective thing he does. He says if it's robbers, he can try to fight them off while I get away. Such a protector, my husband. Anyways, you look out the peephole. No one is there. I kinda figure it's some kids playing Ding Dong Ditch or something like that, so we ignore it and go back to the video game. About 2 minutes or so later, there was a major banging on the door. I mean, like, major banging. Like someone took a sledgehammer and whacked the door 3 times. It startled the hell out of us, so my husband grabs his gun and walks cautiously to the door, looking out the peephole. Again, nothing. So he decides to stand there and see if it happens again. A few minutes later, the loud banging starts again, 3 times. This time, my husband yanks the door open, determined to catch the person doing it, and nothing. Now, there is no way a person could bang on the door and get away before my husband opened the door, because he was standing right at the door. No living person moves that fast. Not even Usain Bolt is that fast. Since we don't see anything, you both realize that it was something supernatural at play here. My husband closes the door, deadbolts it, and we return back to the couch. After about 5 minutes of trying to wrap our heads around what just happened, our rocking chair starts rocking in a slow, steady motion on its own. No windows open at all. It's the middle of March, so it's still too chilly for open windows. I grab my rosaries off the fireplace, and my husband and I immediately start reciting Hail Marys. The rocking chair stops and slides halfway across the floor on its own. We hear bangs and bumps. It sounds like things being thrown about in our house. And then we hear heavy footsteps running towards our door. Mind you, I said, my husband deadbolted the door. Suddenly, the deadbolt door swings open very violently. We have a heavy and thick wooden door, so it's not easy to fling that thing open as easily as we just witnessed. As quick as the door swung open, it closed the same way. The house was back, calm and peaceful, just like that. My parents taught me to get rid of these things, like a way to do it, I guess. When I was about 17 years old, something tried to possess me. It happened, and when it didn't succeed, it didn't stop trying to do that. Every now and then, it tries. But because I know what to do, and I have a wonderful and supportive husband that believes in me and helps me, it is too weak. I always suspect, when I hear noises in threes, that it's this thing, still trying to let me know that it's near me. It usually doesn't become a nuisance when my husband is home, almost as if it's afraid of him, you know? I don't know, I usually have the most trouble out of it when I'm alone. If only I knew how to get rid of it for good. Anyone have any information on the 3 knocks phenomenon? There is a brief story included here. I've had some very strange experiences in my lifetime, This one is rather tame by comparison to some of them. Nonetheless, it has stuck with me because of its unnerving nature. I was watching my brother's house and dog in Denver area a few years ago. Now I'm a bit of a night owl, so it's quite late when I go to bed, maybe around 2 a.m. My brother's dog likes to sleep on the bed. I turn out the light and all was quietly normal. After a minute or two of thinking about some things, I closed my eyes. I would say that within about 10 seconds of closing my eyes, I heard and I felt 3 very loud thumps or knocks, as if someone was pounding the wall like a gong with the base of their fist. The wall was shaking loud and all sounded the exact same. They were in succession or steady rhythm. That's the most unnerving part of it. Not quick or urgent, but just thud, thud, thud. This type of noise would usually send the dog into a barking spasm, as if someone is at the door. But not this time. She just jumped straight up on the bed and stared at the door. It totally freaked her out as much as me. I knew it wasn't a knock on the door or even the outside wall, but it was hard to tell where exactly in the house it came from. Not a large house, just a startup home for a young couple. The dog reluctantly followed me throughout the house when I went to go check it out to see where the sound was actually coming from. After looking for a while, in the end, I didn't find anything out of the ordinary. It was a very, very creepy experience. Also, they live in a very quite residential neighborhood. About the only traffic they get in the middle of the night is a paperboy. I tried to find out if this is an experience others might have had. Turns out, I guess. But very little information about the phenomenon itself. Just wondering if others have had this happen, and if anyone has any insight on this phenomenon. Edit. January 18th, 2013. A couple things. The knocks were so loud that the house shook or rattled. The dog's reaction added to the creepiness. She actually seemed scared. Very smart dog as well. Now, here are the observations that I have for this situation. There seem to be a couple of interesting commonalities with the phenomenon. The knocks occur in such a way that the person having the experience remembers the number of knocks. 3! Always 3. If someone was to ask me to knock on a door in a creepy way, I would do it exactly like I heard it that night. Kind of like Jacob Marley knocking on Ebenezer Scrooge's large oak door. The other common thread I'm picking up on is the fact that everyone who has had this experience usually seems to be in a relaxed state when it happens, reading a book, listening to music, relaxing in bed. It would seem that the phenomenon happens when someone is alone, but not exclusively. Some anecdotes involve two sharing the experience. I would like to know more about the dual experiences from both sides. Shouldn't have messed with the attic. Using a throwaway account and typing out work. I'll try my best to maybe upload some pictures of the area in the house or something like that. Like the attic, the hall, the wood floors, etc. Not sure what to do, but interesting and creepy stuff has been happening in our house lately. Now, my home was built in 1870, and we've been living in it since 2004. We've never had any major or paranormal activities, just the usual thuds, creaks, and old house sounds. We renovated the bathrooms, added a pool, painted, plastered, moved stuff, and nothing has changed until we messed with the attic. The ceiling above our living room is supported by large beams, but the horsehair plaster is sagging. We had lots of storage in the attic above the room, so we decided to clear a lot out, lift up the boards, and work on fixing the ceilings. The floor in that place is raised. Beneath is all the insulation up there. We started clearing out insulation and found some old things that had been from owners a long time ago. Tiny white children's shoes, cutlery, pantyhose, and a few sticks wrapped with string. It wasn't the first time we found old things. Previously, when we were putting the pool in the backyard, we found a large ash line in the dirt. And that ash line, which we assume is a burnt-down shed. We dug up many things. We dug up faucets, spoons, knives, and most surprisingly, we dug up a silver revolver. We kept these things for a couple years on display. I wish I had pictures of these things, to be honest, but they disappeared about 2006 to around the year 2007. I've tried to find them, but nobody in my house, about 4 other people, have any idea where they went. Now back to the story. A few weeks after finishing up the attic, the dogs started acting strange. We have a beagle and a dachshund. The dachshund will bark while staring at walls like someone is standing there. Our beagle wakes up at 3 a.m. in the morning and runs around the house barking like a maniac, and nobody can calm him down or keep him quiet. Both of our dogs have started sitting and barking in this one area of the front hallway and won't leave it alone. The beagle, who usually sleeps in one of the bedrooms, now only sleeps in this area. It's like he's standing guard to something there. One night, a family member of mine is sleeping in his room with the door open, which is located directly across from this hallway. He told me he woke up because our beagle was sitting there growling and facing his doorway. When he sat up to look at the dog, he heard what sounded like an older woman scream, "Help!" I've never seen him so scared. He insists that he heard a woman's voice yell, "This." The next day, another member is in the shower, and she's a firm non-believer in the paranormal and will explain away anything and everything. When she hears a knock on the bathroom door, she yells out, "Hello? I'm in here." And nobody responds. When she finishes, she goes downstairs and asks if anyone has knocked on her door and what do they want. The only other person in the house said he was way in the basement grabbing laundry. She claims it was the dogs, but we all know a dog doesn't knock on the door. They scratch at the bottom of the door. She wouldn't yell hello if the dog knocked, aka scratched, on the friggin' door. 2 nights ago, I was lying in my bedroom, which is located above the dining room area. Now my bed is thick, with a memory foam top, a mattress pad, and a ton of pillows. But no matter what I do, I hear what sounds like somebody in the dining room, walking around, moving stuff, and the distinct sound of a cabinet opening and closing over and over again. It's driving me crazy. I'm a little frightened, so I crank up the television and go to sleep. About 3 a.m. that night, my beagle, who I managed to rope into sleeping with me, wakes up and runs to my bedroom door. He starts whining and scratching until I get up and let him outside. He runs down the stairs and I hear him growling in the dining room below. Needless to say, I hurried back to the safety of my bed. Last night was the icing on the cake. Me and one other member are the only people in the house. We're watching TV and have it on mute during some commercials. We're talking to each other about how we've been hearing strange noises at all hours of the day and the night. As we're talking, my other dog starts barking uncontrollably at the front hallway, per usual. So I go over to her and she's looking up, barking away. I tell her to knock it off, but she won't stop. I look inside the bedroom to the left, and my other dog is on the bed, looking out the hallway with all his hair on edge. I angrily put both of the dogs outside as their barking was overpowering the TV. I got back to the living room. At another commercial break, we muted the TV. This time, as soon as it muted, we hear a loud bang in the front hall. Looking at each other to confirm we both heard it, we stay quiet and listen close. Another bang follows, and then the distinct sounds of heels on a wood floor as it's getting louder and louder, like it's getting nearer and nearer to us inside the living room. Now, at this point, we were both really, really nervous and are laughing and crying, looking at each other. I get up to walk over to the hallway to see if maybe someone just got home, and I walk straight into a wall of ice. Literally, my right calf is frozen, goosebumps and a chill spread out my leg, my side, and to my right arm. I run over and put my hands on the other person, and I'm yelling, "Holy shit, I'm freezing on one side of my body. Look, there's goosebumps all over the side of me. Feel my hands. My left is hot. My right is like ice." He stares at me, and he can tell he's really getting freaked out as well. I'm honestly pretty giddy about this at this point, as it doesn't scare me as much as it excites me. Did I just walk into something or someone? Is there any way to calm our house's activity? What do you guys think? I just want to share what's been going on with the Reddit community. Reddit Paranormal seemed right. Thanks for reading. Update. Look, I am drawing connections, and I'm thinking whatever it is female, likely on the older side. It's literally giving me chills thinking about it. Maybe linked to my being a retarded teenager and playing with a Ouija board and having seances in the past, all that kind of stuff. Now I'm thinking it's more because we were disturbing the attic upstairs. That's like my main guess, to be honest, right now. I mean, who knows? I really, really have no idea at this moment. Now, my town library closes before I get out of work, so I have to go Saturday morning to do some research on the house that I currently live in. Internet searching is not working out for me. This house maybe is just too old. Tonight, I will attempt an EVP session and leave a recorder out. I know, people have told me if the thing's evil or it's demonic or something like that, having this kind of contact with it will only make it worse, but I really am curious as to find out what the heck this thing is, and I really want to solve the problem. I don't want this kind of shit anymore, to be honest. Anyways, I guess I'll be taking pictures of the active areas as well. I'll update soon. Thank you guys for all the help and comments, Redditors. Much appreciated. Update 2. Sorry, don't have the voice recorder tonight to do an EVP session. It was lent out to someone. We'll have to try it by Saturday. Also the day I'll be digging for old information on the house, at the library, and Historical Society as well. Hopefully, everything works out for me, and thank you once again for all your comments. You Redditors are the friggin' best.